I am CTO of MX. My name is Brandon DeWitt. You were promised that I would be talking about something like real-time systems and open source fintech, so I'm going to apologize to you up front. I'm going to talk less about that and more about some other stuff. But this conference is really interesting, FinDEVr. There's like two big sides of this conference. One big side of it is like the super nerds, like CTOs and coders every day. The other side of it is kind of business people and FI and banking people that are seeing what's happening in the tech space. I'm on the super nerd side. I code a lot. Go visit my GitHub. I would love to write some code with you if you write code. Super nerd. So if you want to get super nerdy, come talk to me, talk to folks at the MX. We've got lots of engineers that are here. MX, we are kind of right now talking about the data-driven advocacy platform. We work with more than 1,000 financial institutions with delivering financial solutions out to consumers. We like to say making more financially responsible citizens of this world. We do that through a couple of different tools. Our platform, Money Desktop, Helios, working on the mobile side, WideNet, getting more users to come in, Insight and Target around analytics and targeting. We are also massive open source contributors. We have more than 80 open source projects that have come from inside of MX. We've open sourced to the world. We contribute back to the world. There's 20 engineers that are here today that are coding on open source projects that could help walk you through how we use them internally. So if you're of the nerdy disposition, come and talk to us about that. We would love to walk through code with you because it's something that we love doing and is at the very heart of our passion every day. But really, one of the things that we're supposed to do at the FinDEVr conference is supposed to come out with something new. And so today we're actually launching what we call Atrium, the Atrium API, which is a way for FIs and non-FIs to connect to financial data that is on our platform. And we've tried to make it easier. We've tried to make a consistent fintech-friendly pricing model and delivering our data around our categorization, the accuracy of our data, all of that out to the market through the easy-to-use API. You can go to mx.com/atrium, learn more about that. Also, later today between 2 and 6 in Suite 207, we're actually doing a pretzel and beer kind of meetup. So come and join us and get to know that API and utilize that API. A couple of different things we're doing around it, around the quick start side, around how you actually make requests. We've got a lot of curl requests baked into it. We've got different clients that are able to access it. And really getting, this is a small video, and unfortunately my presentation software doesn't play videos, so technology. So really delivering how to connect two institutions out to the market and making that easy for fintech and FIs and non-FIs that are out there. But what I really wanted to talk about today that kind of goes away from what you were kind of baited to be here with, which was real-time open source solutions, was really the evolution of what I like to call the ethos of MX. When we first started at MX, like every other company, we were that small, scrappy company. There was a couple of us that were, you're in a room. The legends always extend past the truth. But the legends of we had styrofoam walls instead of cubicles, which was actually true because you can get a big styrofoam wall at Lowe's for $8. Also, the legend of when we went to conferences, we stayed in youth hostels. We didn't stay in hotels. I actually came out here today, and it's kind of funny now. I think it's because there's a C in my title. But when I arrived out here, I had both an Airbnb booked for me and a hotel booked for me. And I was like, guys, this is waste of money. There was a time where we spent $12 a night in a youth hostel in San Francisco. So let's keep our eye on the prize. Like, we're still a small company. We still need to stay scrappy. And our motto, the ethos of MX, was get shit done. And you could come into MX and you'd see it everywhere. And it was all about execution and delivery. We deliver lots of software. One of the first things that we got down as an organization was how to deliver with zero downtime. And so last year we did more than 3,000 releases of our platform. That continues to grow in momentum over time. If you want to talk about how we deliver that in a regulated environment, how we deliver that in an environment where everything needs to be checked, love to have a conversation with you about it. Engineers would love to have a conversation with you about it. We'd love to show you that the software that we use. But towards the beginning of our life cycle, it was all about get shit done. And then we kind of went into this phase that I call the silver bullet phase. And this is where I kind of want to bring some wisdom, I guess wisdom. If you could call 5 years worth of time wisdom, we'll call it wisdom. But I kind of wanted to bring some wisdom to the other startups that are here, and also the people that are buying software and the people that are building software that are here. The ethos inside of MX was there are no silver bullets. There's bucket loads of lead ones, but there are no silver bullets. And so the most important thing you can take from that perspective, dependent on which side of the table that you're on, is if I'm selling software, or I'm selling solutions, or I'm creating partnerships, don't let your first conversation be a silver bullet conversation. Don't go into an institution and say, I know what your pain is, and I know what you're experiencing, and let me sell you a silver bullet, because I can guarantee you that that partnership or that client or that institution that you're working with is going to end up hating you, because your first conversation was all about selling them a silver bullet. And that's where we try and go into every conversation and say, there are no silver bullets, but there are bucket loads of lead ones. And we deliver software more than 3,000 times a year because we are delivering lead bullets all the time. And we think that we are a great partner and a great builder of technology because we have set up a cycle in which we can deliver lead bullets. And we're not going to be the institution that promises you a silver bullet solution, because we know they don't exist. We're going to continuously iterate our way into success with you as a partner. But what's happened actually in the last year is our ethos has taken a bit of a change. As I said, it was get shit done. And then it was there are no silver bullets. There's just bucket loads of lead ones. And then right here, over this last kind of 10 months, it's turned into there are things that are seemingly impossible and certainly improbable, but necessary. And I want to share a story kind of around where this evolved from. And actually, I love this conference because it's a conference where I feel at home with nerd-type people. And this is actually the first time that I've ever shared this publicly. But towards the beginning of the year, I was, a couple of years ago, I went through chemotherapy. I had salivary cancer. Towards the beginning of the year, I was going into my last checkup, and I got my checkup, and afterwards I was meeting with my doctor. My doctor said, Brandon, I'm sorry to tell you, but the chemo and the radiation didn't deal with this cancer the way that we thought it would. And you have 14 tumors in your lungs, and it's going to be months, not years. You probably have a couple of months, and we can give you pain pills. And that kind of sent me into a bit of a spiral, as you might imagine. But when you're building a company, you're building a family. And it sent our family as a company into a bit of a spiral. But what happened was that first weekend at that meeting was our CEO. He was actually at my doctor with me because if you knew our CEO, he's one of my best friends in the world and our CEO. And he sat there in that meeting and he said, "Doctor, I don't think that you understand. This is not a fight we're going to lose." And he came back that weekend and he brought the product team in and he brought the engineering team in. And he said, "Our task is seemingly impossible and certainly improbable, but it's necessary. Here are the 100 top researchers in the world relative to cancer, and here are the 20 top cancer institutes in the world. And right now, we have someone who has a few months left, and we need to find a way to get to all of them. And we need to find a way to get through this." And if you know how we build software and how we strategize around it, this is actually a real picture of what came out of that weekend. And so what came out of that weekend, as you can see, it's called Brandon DeWitt's Cancer Analysis. We're Visio people. We plan the world. We're planners and executors. What came out of that weekend was, what are the potential options? We had engineers that were reading research papers and were diving into the very cutting edge of cancer therapies, immunotherapy, oncotherapy, which has to do with viruses, CAR T-cell therapy. How are we actually going to get out there and find the scientists who are on the cutting edge to change this? And we came up with a plan. And as you can see up here, all the red boxes are where that plan ran into a dead end. And what we said as an organization is we have to find a way through this. And we went to institution after institution, eventually ended up in Boston, tried an experiment out there with a first-in-human study out there that didn't work out. Then went to a first-in-human study out in Seattle. And after 2 months of being on that study, I sat down with my doctor, and the doctor said, "You had 14 tumors in your lungs, and now it looks like you have 11 tumors in your lungs." And we made progress because we killed 3 of them. But I think what I want to say to every developer that's here today, or every entrepreneur that's here today, or every builder that's here today, is that seemingly impossible, but certainly improbable, but necessary. I want you to know that we wake up every single day and say, "but necessary." We know as an organization what our task is to be is but necessary. And what I want to challenge every developer out there is to say, are you working on something that is necessary? The motto that we have at MX is finances as it should be. And so we look at that motto and we say, it is a necessity that humanity gets finances as it should be. And you may be thinking today, like, man, he went from like talking software to talking cancer and scared me. But like cancer, I mean, that's not as significant as finances. But actually, if you go out there and you look at the leading cause of death of humans, the leading causes of death of humans, in the top 10 leading causes of death of humans is suicide. Cancer's there, certainly. Heart disease is there, but also suicide. And if you look at the leading causes of suicide, one of the leading causes of suicide is financial stress. You can go look it up. The World Health Organization considers financial stress one of the most significant problems facing mankind. And what we're doing here today, and what you wake up and do on a daily basis, can be part of the solution of a very, very solvable problem. And so I want to challenge you, not only as organizations, not only as builders, but as humans. Are you waking up every single day and doing something that is necessary? And if you're not, there's tons of organizations that are out in that hallway that have a booth set up that is doing something that is necessary, that is finding a way to change the world that is necessary for the future of humanity. And I would encourage you to check them out. MX is only one of them. There's about 20 booths out there